They should always expect a train, and all too often in our complacency and getting from place to place, we forget that there's a crossing within a few miles of our own home.
Most people don't give crossing railroad tracks a second thought. However, with over 260,000 railway crossings in the United States, nearly everyone has a chance to become a statistic. This home video, shot at a suburban station outside of Chicago, is an example of people ignoring warning signals. With bells ringing and horns blowing, people still cross the tracks. The woman in black is the only person to heed the warnings. Unfortunately, the next two people are not as cautious. Many fail to realize that even a slow-moving train can't stop quickly, and that it can't steer to avoid a collision.
It can't swerve, it can't go anywhere. The responsibility for avoiding a collision really falls to the motorist, because the motorist can stop. It takes several hundred feet to stop a car or even a semi-truck, but it takes more than a mile to stop a train.
One tragedy in Fox River Grove, Illinois, brought the dangers of railway crossings to the forefront of public concern. On October 25, 1995, a school bus full of 34 rambunctious children was running late. A substitute driver was filling in on the route for the very first time. The bus stopped at a traffic light, a routine event. The driver didn't realize that the back of the bus was still sitting over the railroad tracks.
The train engineer saw the bus slowly going over the tracks, and his testimony at the public hearing was, I said, "Oh God, keep moving." And the bus did keep moving very slowly, and then it stopped. And when it stopped, the train engineer slammed the train into emergency, approximately 500 feet from the grade crossing.
The train slammed into the stopped bus, ripping the bus body off of the chassis. The body flew 42 feet. Emergency crews rushed to the scene and began the gruesome task of tending to the injured and pulling out the dead. 5 children died immediately. 2 more were fatally injured. 10 had serious injuries. The NTSB investigation confirmed that there was not enough room between the signal and the train tracks for the bus to stop.
There were no signs there to tell the bus driver how much space there was on the other side, and in fact there was about 35 feet of space. The bus is 39 feet long. And at the last minute she looked in the mirror, saw the students running forward, and that's when the impact occurred.
Graphic test footage of a staged crash demonstrates the deadly results of a train colliding with a bus. Railway crossings will remain a potential danger as long as pedestrians and motorists continue to ignore warning signals.
The fact of the matter is, if you see the train, don't take the risk. Wait till it goes by. A train moving at 55 miles an hour is clearing 88 feet per second. And if you think about that, a second is not a very long period of time. It might take you a couple of minutes for a freight train that's a mile long to go by, and those are a couple of minutes that could save your life.
Superspeed train designers have come up with a variety of solutions to maintain safety while still pushing the limits of speed. France's method was to build a completely integrated rail system dedicated solely to high-speed travel. The train, the track, the communication and control system, all elements of the TGV network are fused together and aim toward the goal of moving people very fast and safely. A French railway accident helped spur the use of this futuristic system that could make rail travel safer worldwide.
God believe
The accident that spawned the development of modern railway communication and tracking occurred on June 27, 1988, during rush hour at the Gare de Lyon station in Paris. A brakeless train flew down into the station at over 60 miles an hour. 30 feet below the city streets, unsuspecting commuters slowly boarded their daily train. The out-of-control locomotive hurtled toward the waiting commuter train.
The train at Gare de Lyon was the classic runaway train. Its brakes had failed because of the driver's action. Nobody established quite why he had done this or what was in his mind, but there's no question that he did do it. And from that point on, he had no control of that train. He had no means of stopping it. And in fact, he just panicked. And he didn't even try to use his motors in reverse to slow the train down.
The runaway train plowed into the sitting train, killing 59 people and injuring 32 more. Within weeks of the Gare de Lyon disaster, 2 more railway accidents shook the confidence of the French people. The president of the French railway system was forced to resign, and a comprehensive package of safety initiatives was recommended.
The thing that the people cannot understand is how nowadays, in 1988 for instance, it is still possible that mistakes this big can be made, that we don't yet have the technology to get over these situations and to deal with them.
The technology is now in place. Today, commuter trains in Paris use satellites to provide continuous location reports on suburban routes. These reports are monitored to ensure that trains are where they should be and are not hurtling toward disaster. A similar system is being evaluated in the United States. In the Pacific Northwest, several railroads are taking a look at the feasibility of bringing the Iron Horse into the space age. Germany is tackling the problem of safe rail travel by building a train that travels using levitation. Steel, track, and wheels have been replaced by magnetic fields. The maglev has been designed to run on guideways, each section elevated as needed to avoid any dangerous crossings or geography. The trains travel in only one direction on the track, so there could never be a head-on collision. Because of the way the maglev is powered, there is always a distance of at least 20 miles between 2 trains, so one train could not rear-end another. In addition, the trains wrap around the guideway, so it is impossible to derail. However, even the best technology can be undermined by someone committed to inflicting harm. On October 9, 1995, in the remote desert outside of Phoenix, Arizona, an Amtrak train bound from Los Angeles to Miami sailed over a trestle spanning a gulch. Suddenly, the train's 248 passengers were plunged into the ravine. 1 crew member was killed, and over 100 passengers were injured. An investigation revealed that the derailment was caused by sabotage. Someone had removed a 3-foot joint that connects rail segments. They overrode the emergency warning system by using a wire to keep the electrical connection between the separated pieces of track. With no break in electrical current, the engineer received no warning. Investigators believe this terrorist act was inspired by a similar crash that occurred almost 60 years ago. On August 12, 1939, the city of San Francisco, one of the premier passenger trains of its time, was derailed